So, a few days ago was my 18th birthday, so I decided to let my beard grow out to show you guys how old I am. But anyways, today I'm going to tell you how to stop flinching during sparring. This is a problem that I used to have, and I used to share it with my friend when we started our journey in MMA and we started sparring. Every single time we would spar, it would be like gunshots were going off. Every single throw, and we would have to be constantly stopping the session because we just kept flinching. And obviously you can't hit your friend in the back of the head because that can result in serious damage. So today we're going to cover why you're flinching and how to stop flinching. So disclaimer, the way that my friend and I stopped flinching was every time we would flinch, we would stop the session and we would put our hands down and we'd be forced to take a jab right to the nose. Now, we were stupid and we didn't have experience, and I do not condone that. I'm not telling you to do that. It worked, but it's not the right way. It's a CTE speed run, as they say. Today, I'm going to tell you realistic ways and effective ways to stop flinching. But first, you have to understand why you flinch. Now, flinching in sports, like in life, is a natural reaction. The reason why you flinch when you hear a loud sound or when somebody goes like that is just a defense mechanism. It's your body and your brain trying to keep you safe. It's a nervous motor response. And it's just an instinct that's built for survival. But as, for example, the instinct to wind up your punches a lot so you get more power when you throw them, which is also an instinct, it's counterproductive. Flinching is extremely counterproductive. Why? Because when you flinch, you're exposing the backside of your head. And if you've spent a few months training, or if you know anything about fighting, you'll know that the reason every single combat sport makes shots to the back of the head illegal is because that can result in serious brain, spine damage and is very, very dangerous. So you never want to expose the back of your head. You never want to expose your back. That's what flinching does. So as you can see, it's very counterproductive. Therefore, you need to train it out of your system. Now, a mistake that I made personally, that I see a lot of beginners make when starting to fight, whether that be boxing, whether that be kickboxing, whatever martial art you're doing, is that they'll get used to flinching because they're sparring so hard. So let's run through this. Your brain flinches because it's quote unquote scared. It's stimuli, too much stimuli going to the nervous system, and therefore it overreacts. If you're sparring hard and you're getting hit with shots, especially as a beginner, that you don't know how to take, your brain is going to associate you sparring and a punch coming with you hurting, with danger. So obviously, your brain is going to have the reaction to flinch. Therefore, you should not be sparring hard, especially if you're a beginner. There is no point. It makes your technique worse. It can seriously harm you. It gives you fake ego. And it can make you scared and it can make you flinch. The only reason I would see to hard spar is if you're in a fight camp and it's getting closer to the fight and you need to have a lifelike reaction, a lively simulation of what the fight is going to be like. Other than that, there's no reason to spar hard. So stop sparring hard, because you are subconsciously telling your brain every time you spar hard that there is a danger that you are going to get hurt. Because every time a punch comes at you and connects, it hurts you bad. It rocks you. If you spar light, if you see the Thai spar, if you see, who else spars very light? The Cubans spar very light. These are great fighters. And a lot of people think that if you don't spar hard, you're not going to be tough. Name me people that are tougher than the Thais fighting. They spar light because they're smart. Because number one, you learn when you're having fun. And sparring playfully is more fun instead of having the fear of getting hurt. And number two, you save yourself unnecessary damage. Same thing with the Cubans. They're some of the best boxers. And if you see their training camps, they're always sparring playfully, always staying light on their feet, never throwing power punches, because they train on concrete. If you get knocked out, you're going to get brain damage for sure. So if you want to stop flinching, the first step is to stop sparring hard. Train your brain to be okay with taking shots because you're not scared of them, because they're light. Another thing that I see that is just going to happen to everyone, and this you can't stop. The reason most likely why you flinch is because you just have a lack of experience sparring. And that's completely fine. That's going to get rinsed out of you as you keep going. So don't give up and think that just because you flinch, you're not built for fighting, you're not built for this sport. If you're flinching just out of lack of experience, it's not because you're genuinely scared of getting hurt, then you're fine. As you keep sparring, as you keep progressing, you're going to realize that it's not as scary as you think, and you're going to start flinching less and less. So the first way you can stop flinching is, as I said, to stop sparring hard. Train your brain to understand that sparring is playful. Sparring is light. Sparring is technical. Sparring is to get you better, not to get you hurt. And therefore, instead of flinching all the time, you won't be afraid of taking shots. Hell, I wouldn't be afraid of taking an uppercut from a person who I know, I can trust that it's going to spar light. Because I know if I make a mistake, it's fine. He's going to hit me, but it's not going to hurt. It's just going to let me know that I made a mistake. And that's amazing because you can learn without the fear of getting hurt. The second thing that I personally did to stop myself from flinching so much is to work on your reflexes. So I'll tell you a little story. I was training with my coach one day, and we were working on blocking kicks. So you block the kick, you move away, and then you punch with the right hand. Now, my coach is very fast. I mean, he's a 50-year-old Cuban, but he's extremely fast, especially with kicks. They're like lightning. You don't see them coming. And so my coach kept hitting me with the kicks, and he's like, why aren't you blocking? And I'm like, Coach, I can't see them. I just don't see them coming. And he's like, no, that's not true because you're flinching. And I'm like, yeah, so what? And he's like, well, if you're flinching, your brain is reacting to them. You're catching on to them. You just have trained your brain to flinch instead of blocking. And it was true. As I had that in my mind and we repped that out more, I started realizing if I'm flinching, it's because I'm taking into my mind that a kick is coming. I see it. I'm reacting to it. I'm just reacting the wrong way. So if you're flinching, it means you have good reaction time. Now you just need to focus on building the right reaction. So instead of flinching, you learn to block. Another thing I used to do in school was I used to go on my iPad during class and play this little reaction game. So there was a red light, and as soon as it turned green, you had to click the screen. And I did this for about 2 or 3 weeks, and honestly, I saw some improvements in my reaction time. So that's another thing you can try. But the main thing is, if you're flinching, you sure as hell see it. So just react to it the right way. Block, move, evade, don't flinch. The third trick, I'm gonna have to take you along the journey for this. Right. The third trick is the water trick. So you're gonna fill up a sink or a container with water, like so. Okay, for the sake of this video, I'm not gonna fill it up completely, but you'll see how it goes. You're gonna turn on the water, and once the water's on, you're gonna take your hands and you're gonna chop at them. And the water's gonna go into your eyes, it's gonna start splashing. Now what I want you to do is to try and maintain your eyes wide open as much as possible. I know you're gonna go like this, it's fine. Just try your best to not close your eyes. So like so. Now this looks stupid and it looks like I'm crying, but this will get your brain and your nervous system used to not flinching when something's coming at you. That way you can maintain your eyes wide open and you can see what's coming and react to it. The next thing you need to do if you want to stop flinching is simple. It's just spar more. Now, assuming you're sparring lightly and we've already covered step 1 on removing the fear of sparring, and if not, you can go check out, I think it was my last video, I made a video about how to remove the fear of sparring. You just need to spar more. You need to get your brain used to these signals, to a punch coming at you, to jab, a cross. These are all different signals that your brain needs to get used to. So as you spar more consistently, your brain's going to start picking up on these patterns, on these signals, and sooner or later, you're going to start seeing that without even thinking about it, just on autopilot. You're going to be blocking, you're going to be evading, you're going to be seeing the punch coming and slipping. You're going to mold your brain into more of a fighting base, if that makes sense. Because right now, especially if you're a beginner, your brain's in an unknown environment. You're getting shots thrown at you and it doesn't know how to react. But if you keep putting it in that environment constantly, it's eventually going to adapt. And the last tip I have to stop flinching is to just understand and accept that you're going to get hit. Boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, whatever. Nobody's perfect. Nobody has perfect defense. You're just gonna get hit. Now, obviously, you shouldn't be scared of getting hit if you're sparring light, but you have to understand that sooner or later somebody's gonna tag you. Even Floyd Mayweather got tagged. I mean, he lost a tooth from Marcos Maidana. So accept that you're gonna get hit. Come in with that mindset that it's okay, that you're not gonna get seriously hurt, and that's just gonna improve you. And have fun. Don't take it too seriously when you get hit. Don't start overthinking. Just keep fighting, keep playing around, and sooner or later, that sounds weird, and sooner or later, you'll get hit less and less and less. Now, I hope this video helped you to stop flinching. I want you to actually take action on these 5 steps. And assuming you've actually listened to them, I promise you that in 1 month from now, you'll be flinching much, much less. See you, bro.